Okay, lesson 4 is all about trial lessons. For those of you who've been following the previous lessons, we're working in the top section here, and we're working predominantly in the trial lesson list. And as you can see, we have 3 people already booked in via the office, one of whom, Mr. David Smith, hasn't yet paid. So as an exercise, we're going to collect some money off David Smith, and then we're going to prepare him for his flight. So to collect the money, click simply on the arrow button, as in all the other lessons. Click on collect payment. You can see the amount there that you're required to collect, and you select the payment method by clicking in the space, and from the drop down list select the payment method, which will say will be cash. That's all you need to do. Save the record and then close the record. There is, however, 2 more bits of information that we'd quite like you to collect if time permits. One is the email address, so we can do some follow-up market research and to invite them back to the club for another go or to membership. And another box here marked market research, and it's simply the question, how did they hear about us? If you click on the arrow, it brings a list up, and the options are Google, Facebook, heard it from a friend, Twitter, a newspaper advertisement, just passing, or other. So we'll assume that they found us on Facebook, click on Facebook, and it fills it in. At that point, we then save the record again, and then close it. You'll notice when the list comes back, he's no longer red, and £65 has appeared in the payment list there. So far so good. Let's get him ready to fly. Back to the arrow, click, select prepare the flight record. Screen will appear, and then we select the instructor who he's going to fly with, and we'll put him in with Ian Carrick, and we'll select the aircraft they're going to fly in. We'll select KRB. You notice down below the voucher number is already filled in for you and the person's name, so Shirley can pick that up in the office. Click on create, and you will now find that flight in the waiting to launch list. Refer to lessons 1 and 2 for details of how to launch and land the flight. We're going to go back into the trial lesson list now and do 1 or 2 other clever things. Now, we had a situation back in February, I think it was, where a young lady called Kirsty Young came to site one day as a walk-on, never been before. Somebody booked her in the system, and then it rained. So she went away very disappointed. She then came back on a subsequent day, and different set of people at the launch point. Nobody asked the question, somebody booked her in the system, and then, yes, you guessed it, the cloud came down. So she went away disappointed. This happened a total of 4 times, so we now have 4 Kirsty Youngs in the database, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the devil's own job when I'm trying to analyse the sales as to how many we've done in a particular month. That kind of scenario can be avoided quite simply if we all get into the habit of asking one simple question of anybody who just walks onto the site, and that question is, have you been before? They may, like Kirsty Young, have been before, gone away disappointed because the weather closed in on them and already be in the system. They may have a voucher. They may have turned up for a voucher flight, and again the weather's closed in, they've gone away. But they will already be in the system. They may have a voucher and have just forgotten to bring it, in which case they will already be in the system. So we need to get into the habit of asking the question, have you been before? And if the answer is yes, then assume that they're on the system somewhere, and it's just a question of finding them and bringing them into today's calendar. That may not always be the case. There may be a genuine first-time walk-on, but it's a safe thing to assume, and it saves getting duplications in the database. So to find out whether someone's been before, simply go down to the button at the bottom that says has voucher but not in list. Click on it. Follow the instructions on the screen and type in part of a surname. Don't have to type it all in. For one thing, you might spell it wrong. So just put a few letters in, click OK, and then either some names will appear on the list or they won't. If they don't, then just cancel and then treat them as a straightforward walk-on. If they're in the list, then simply select them, click on OK, and that will pull them down into today's flying list. Saves duplication, saves you some typing. Of course, if they are a genuine first-time walk-on, then we have another button here, No Voucher, a walk-on. Click on that, and you'll be asked for some additional information. First, we need to select the product, and we'll say it's a single flight trial lesson. They usually are. We then need the name of the person that's on the voucher, and that's where you have to do a little bit of typing. And then at that point, we normally don't collect the money because things might happen. Aircraft might get damaged or flown away somewhere, land in a field, or the weather might close in. So that's the point, all you need to do. If you click on create at that stage, then you'll have put them in the list, but they'll be red to remind you that before they fly, we need to collect some money off them. So we're just going to do that now as a repeat exercise. Click on the arrow key, click collect payment, select a payment method, and this would say they're paying by credit card. Collect the email address for me please, and also ask the market research question, how did you hear about us? And we'll say this time it's a Google search. Click on save, click on close, and you're back to the list, and now they're black, and we've collected their cash. In order to fly them, just a quick repeat exercise. Click on the arrow, click on prepare flight record, select the instructor. In case you're wondering why I'm in there, I'm in the test database as an instructor, just so I can check things out. Click on an aircraft, EBL, click on create, and now we'll see them in the waiting to launch list. As I said again, refer to lessons 1 and 2 for details of how to launch and land the flights, and that's the end of this exercise. So just to repeat, if in doubt, ask the question, have you been here before? If you're still in doubt, assume they have and do a search for them. If they're not there, then we can treat them as a first time walk-on. End of lesson. Thank you for listening. Speak to you all very soon.